The second example is Medion. So Medion is a German company, German producer is a German vendor of PCs. I know them. I remember them in the past. You went to the shop. You wanted to buy computers. So it's a well-known brand in Europe. It has a very long history. Established in 1976, they are spread all over Europe, the United States, and Asia. And the business areas include PCs, multimedia products, and mobile telecom services. So here again, it's an example of a Chinese company with their own products, no brand, not being known internationally, but producing good quality, improving your quality, and getting into the consumer electronics sector, trying to expand internationally. So you do that by using a brand that is known, by using a brand that shows trust to the consumers, and not touching that brand. So here the challenge was to leave it the way it is. To develop as much trust as possible from the Chinese side towards the brand and towards the owners of the brand and towards the market and the trust people have in the market and people have in the brand, that you can move along, that you try to go along, you manage the relationship very good, you don't destroy the consumer base, you don't get into complicated business, and this requires, if you want to do that, like it was in the case of Mediagon, it was even more different and more difficult than in the case of Lenovo. However, they managed, because they did a perfect job in managing especially the soft factors of such a merger. Staying behind, taking your time, listening, having trust in the experience of the foreign company, listening to what the market tells you, what the consumers tell you, and just moving very cautiously. We see here from the performance of the shares 3 months after the translation has been completed, that they've been doing basically a very good job. The only thing that really affected them was the dynamics of the market, was the problem of keeping on being innovative. In the case of Lenovo and IBM, we have seen and we have heard that the huge challenges have come shortly after, because you have to, at the very beginning, face against those obstacles and against everyone that believes that just because you're a Chinese company, you cannot manage. And if you take such a brand and you move it from a traditional European environment or an American environment, a Western environment, to the Chinese context, you might not manage to fail. But if you, later on, if you keep on performing properly and you keep on developing that line, trust is reestablished, and customers, they will understand, and you can enter with new products and expanding your positioning and branding too. The transaction background between the two companies here, on the one side Lenovo and on the other side then Medion. Lenovo will further develop the European market and enlarge its business in the PC and internet sector. So Lenovo needs to be extremely innovative as a producer of consumer products. The traditional PC business has almost gone. So just relying on PC business, as it was in the past with IBM and Lenovo will not work anymore in the future. And especially in the European market, with that dynamic, they won't survive. So the strategy of getting further is for Lenovo, of course, to expand, to diversify, to develop new products, to make it further in the consumer products like tablet PCs, portable PCs, to the integration of mobile phone and PC and tablet PC, and of course to get further into the internet sector and internet services sector. Medion has, as having had experience as a vendor in the PC sector for many, many years, they have very, very good experience in the front-end services. So directly to customers, how to deal with them. This is where they're extremely good at. So they have a very strong technological background and very good logistics network. So the big advantage of Medion has been and still is that since they have been PC vendor for so many years, they have a very good understanding of what at the point of sale customers want, but even more important, what they don't want. Because Medion's big advantage is being there and selling every day to the customer and having the customer right in front of you. If the customer is not happy, he tells you. He says, I'm not happy. Now this doesn't work, that's not good. So I'm complaining right in front of you. So Medion improved its front-end sales positioning throughout the years in a very good way. And this again reflected back to the Chinese side. So listening to the customer every day, knowing exactly what he wants today, telling them what is not good with the product, what needs to be changed, and of course then bringing in your very good logistics network. So this is the strategy Medion will keep on following. This is where they will get further, and this is their positioning. Now coming to the fourth point of examples why Chinese companies expand into the European market and of course into overseas markets is purchase of brands. We have seen that also in the examples of like Lenovo or in some other cases. So it's not just always a clear line, I only do this and I only do that. No, it's, in most cases it's a mixture. It just depends then where you focus more on. Now here we have, as an example, Geely. Geely is one of the top 10 enterprises in China's automobile industry. Quite young, established in 1997. At the moment they have 4 production facilities in China with a very wide sales nets of about 500 distributors. They run 3 brands and are very aggressive in their internationalization strategy. They have tried looking at Chinese car industry. They've tried quite early to make it into foreign countries. Because it's a big market. So you want to be successful. You want to get further. And of course, you want to look at the global market. Now, it's been very interesting how Chinese companies, Chinese car companies, or companies in the automobile industry, try to make it into foreign markets. They have not been very successful so far. What are the reasons? First, if you look at the experience and the history of the car industry in the Western world, it goes back many years. The Chinese market here is still very young. You know, you go